Hi, you're watching the Christiana 321. I am the Christiana, and today we're going to talk about some books on my TBR that I just, I'm real scared. So on my TBR, I've got a variety of subjects, a variety of book lengths and genre and subject matter and all this stuff. Books on this list are intimidating for a number of reasons. Most of them are some chunky boys and girls and gender non-binary books. Today we're going to be talking about books on my TBR that I just find really intimidating. The first book on my list of just things that I want to read, but I'm also really intimidated. Some of these are also books that I want to have read, but I don't necessarily want to read. You know what I mean? You'll see. You might know what I mean. So number one is Anna Karenina by Tolstoy. Anna Karenina by Tolstoy. So she's 754 pages, also translated from Russian. I only picked up a physical copy of this today. It's been downloaded in my audiobook app of preference for a while now, but I'm just real worried to start it. So in the audiobook format, it's 35.5 hours. That's a lot of hours. But the Dickens versus Tolstoy book club debate place is doing Anna Karenina for the months of July and August, and I want to participate, at least read the book so I know what they're talking about during the live stream. But I keep procrastinating it because and also it's just such a classic that I don't know why classics usually intimidate me, but here we are. So I'm telling you guys, by the time this video comes up, which is over a week from today, I will have started this book. The next book on my list, I just kind of split them up into fiction and nonfiction. So the next book on my list is Bloodlike Magic by Lizelle Sandberry. She's a Canadian author who's also a YouTuber, so if you like learning about writing a book and the publishing industry and everything, her channel is really great. I'll link it below if I remember. But I first started following her on Instagram. I liked her content there. And then I found out that she had a YouTube page, so I started following her YouTube page. Bloodlike Magic is based out of Toronto and it's about a coven of witches. Watch her videos. She talks about it frequently if you want a synopsis. But basically, she's been talking about it for so long. I've been watching all these videos about it. I was like, oh man, this sounds like a great story. I'm so excited. I can't wait to go pick it up. I can't wait to see it. Cover art, beautiful, amazing. I believe this is considered YA. I'm so excited about it. And then I picked it up. And dang, she's thick! I've read thicker books. I don't know why I'm intimidated. Maybe because I like her so much for her YouTube and Instagram content that I'm worried if I don't like the book, then I won't like her as much in her other content forms. She's so sweet and lovely and everything. So I really want to like this. And I'm sure that I will. I just have to start reading it and get over that initial fear in my throat. So I'm thinking I might start reading this in October, depending on what else is going on, because witches and spooky and everything. I might start reading it sooner, but October is where I tentatively have this planned in my reading schedule, which really I don't follow a reading schedule. The next book that I am intimidated by on my TBR has been on my TBR for so long. I recently got a box of my stuff from my parents' house. I moved out a long time ago. A while ago. And this book was in there. It reminded me that I was on my TBR. And I don't know even when or how I acquired this. Did I buy this? Did somebody gift it to me? No idea. But it's called The Three Body Problem by Shixing Liu and translated by Ken Liu. It's not terribly thick. I think it's the shortest of all the books on my list, coming in at under 400 pages. But it's set in China, cultural revolution, there's a video game going on, aliens, you know, a lot of different sci-fi elements and everything, which I've always been a little bit intimidated by, like, good sci-fi, and everything I've heard about this makes me think it's going to be some good-ass sci-fi. Also, just it being a translated work, for whatever reason, like, that just adds to... adds to my anxiety about starting it. Not only did people in their culture, with their language, think that this was a valuable piece of work that people would enjoy reading, but also now somebody in another language also thinks that, oh yeah, no, this is good. People in different cultures with different backgrounds would read this and enjoy it. A lot of people went through a lot of effort for this to be printed and get into my hands today. And so I just feel a lot of pressure to really like it, and also I kind of feel like it might go above my head. Why am I so intimidated by you? This next one, we're starting to move into the nonfiction intimidating books. So this one I've started. I'm about, I don't know, maybe a quarter of the way through. It's called The Radium Girls, and it's about these young ladies. Most of them were, or there's a lot of them that were in their teens, who worked in factories back before we knew that radium wasn't good for you to ingest or be exposed to, because radiation is bad for you. Well, radiation is bad for living cells. We use that to our advantage when, like, cancer treatments, but if you don't have cancer, and if the radiation isn't, like, very specifically controlled, you don't want it in your body. So these girls were working in a factory where they were painting little, like, dials for watches or airplane instruments, that sort of thing. They would paint it with radium because radium would glow in the dark. Or radium would be in the paint because radium glows in the dark. But so I've worked in an industry that deals with radiation, and so I thought this would be a good book to pick up. So it's not the kind of thing that I typically read, which makes it difficult for me to keep picking it back up. But it's a good story, and it's an important story, especially for my industry. But it's real long, and it's not my cup of tea as far as the way that the story is laid out. Like, it's just not my typical genre, which makes it difficult. Out of all of the books so far, I think the two that I definitely want to finish this year are going to be the Anna Karenina for the book club and Radium Girls, just because I've already started it and it's just sitting there on my shelf staring at me. I will conquer you. I will read you. The next one on my list might be the thickest one so far. I don't know. So, a while back there was a movie called The Imitation Game about Alan Turing, and Benedict Cumberbatch played him, and he was real cute. Real cute. I like a Benedict Cumberbatch film. He's kind of pretty important in the history of my field, and so I thought that it would be good to know something about him. So, dear Lord, the book itself ends on page 664. Anna Karenina might be thicker. I don't know. But it looks so good. When I watched the film, I went out and got this, like, right away. So if you know when the film came out, that tells you how long this has been on my TBR. Just, like, mocking me, staring at me. Next up on my list is 470 pages. So it's not thick. But also going back to the subject matter of this is important to my field, I should know these things. So I want to have read this book, but also, do I want to read this book? The Life and Times of Nikola Tesla, Biography of a Genius. So, if you don't know who Nikola Tesla is, he did not invent the battery-powered car, but he is really important. If you don't know who Nikola Tesla is, he's amazing. Apparently he's one of Elon Musk's, like, heroes, just based on the fact that he named a company after him. In the race to make electricity reasonable in a number of places, Tesla was high up on that list. He's credited as the inspiration for radio, robots, and even radar. He's been called the patron saint of modern electricity. He's amazing, and if it wasn't for him, well, there were a bunch of other people who were also working on electricity, so if it wasn't for him, I would be holding up a book of, like, Jacob... I don't know, I was gonna make up a name of a person that could have lived at the same time as him, but don't put me on the spot like that! And the last one on my list I have read some of, and I've read by this author before, and I really enjoyed his work, but the subject matter I find really intimidating. It's not something that I consider myself an expert in, but it's something that I feel like I should know more about than I do. Without further ado, the book is A Brief History of Time and the Universe in a Nutshell by Stephen Hawking. So this is one of those special, like, I don't know, probably Barnes & Noble editions. It's so pretty, and it's got, like, illustrations in here, so I shouldn't be intimidated by it, but that also kind of makes it feel like a textbook, which I am still kind of intimidated by textbooks. Those are scary, but they are not on my TBR. From what I've read from Stephen Hawking in the past, he's got a really great way of explaining things at a pretty mundane level. Mundane? Layman? At a pretty, like, at my level. And without feeling patronizing or anything like that. Like, it just explains things with the right kinds of metaphors and all. I got fascinated by Stephen Hawking maybe when I was in high school. I was probably in college, like a freshman in college. I am excited about this one. It's thick, it's got some pretty high concept stuff going on. So those are all of the books that I find intimidating, but I still want to read. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start Anna Karenina tonight or in the morning, 'cause it's getting kind of late. So leave me a comment down below. Let me know, what books do you have on your TBR that you're intimidated by? Why are you intimidated by them? Start reading them. They're just books. I say just books. Books are amazing. But there's nothing scary about it. If you start reading it and you don't like it, you just put it down. This is pep talk I'm giving myself. So thank you so much for watching. Leave me a comment down below about what books are on your TBR that you keep pushing down because it's just a little bit too intimidating to start them. And if you don't have any, and you are just like the most courageous reader, as soon as you find a book you want to read, you pick it up and you start reading it, tell me your secrets. If you want to see more bookish content from me, make sure that you hit that like button and subscribe. Not all of my content is going to be book themed and book related, but I do have a lot of book themed videos in my brain that I want to send out into the ether for you. That's all I got for you for today. Have a good night and sweet dreams, and I will see you soon.